Wiki, what's up, everybody, and welcome to the Coffee Sometimes podcast. We have an excellent show here for you today. Ross, what do we got?
This is Boogie Boogerman here on the mic. It's hot. It's the Coffee Sometimes podcast. You heard it here first.
Welcome to the Coffee Sometimes meditation podcast. We want everybody to close their eyes. The focus
This is a rainforest.
The focus of today is gratitude. I'm trying to talk and you're like,
That's more of like a crow.
today what we're going to be focusing on is gratitude.
That was like a jaguar because they live in the rainforest too.
You guys know you're in for a treat today when we're all acting up like this.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, for real.
Y'all gonna make me lose my mind. Up in here, up in here. Y'all gonna make me act up. Ooh, up in here, up in here.
It's lit.
Thank you so much for listening to the Coffee Sometimes podcast. Guys, but seriously, what's something you're grateful for right about now?
Guys, it hasn't rained in a long time.
Whoa.
The plants need it.
Have you noticed how it doesn't rain anymore? We were talking about this earlier.
Yeah, like rain.
It's raining. And I woke Giselle, my 2-year-old, up this morning, and I said, "Baby, it's raining." And she was like, "Ooh." Like,
Spooky.
she loves it. So I was thankful for that moment.
Did she love the rain prior to that moment, or?
Yeah, she's always liked the rain. I always like to ask her questions like, do you like it the sunny weather or do you like rainy weather? She's like, rainy.
Whoa.
So it's kind of, I don't know, it's weird, but
Your kid's awesome.
yeah, she's cool.
I'm grateful for the permits that we just received.
Come on
at
now.
Dunwoody. Happy to put that season of life behind us and move on to greener pastures of construction and build out.
Yeah. So what's our next step on that?
We're going to have one last shindig with the GC via email that says, here's the stuff in the plans that isn't
That we're not planning on.
applicable
Apropos.
for us. So, yeah. And then hopefully that will take down the cost of the build out as well.
Say that thing you were saying about the architects.
Well, Ross and our amazing listeners.
Hey, what am I, chopped liver?
Ross asked.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, Ross.
You see, architects, they go to school and they learn best practices. And they often apply those best practices within their projects. And those best practices are not always required for code. Thus, those best practices cost more money than we would have to spend. So, we have to see some of the things, obviously we're not going to skimp in the areas that our guests are going to see and enjoy. But does it really matter how the pipe angles that's underground as long as the gray water gets out?
That's right.
Yeah.
Come on. The good comes in and the bad goes out.
Yeah. So the GC is going to help us discern
Yes.
what those things are.
And you just look at the plans and there's like a million outlets everywhere.
Yeah.
And you're just like, we aren't an outlet type of coffee shop.
Right.
We have 2 available at 44 Milton, and this place is going to be quite similar. So we're going to 86 a lot of those outlets. We also got lighting fixtures that will help with cost probably. Mm-hmm. There's a lot that we just need to refine.
Yeah, or like we already upgraded our electrical panel, and then they're like, why don't you take another electrical panel? And we said, no, we're good. We got one. So stuff like that.
We're just going to have one panel.
Yeah, like we're a one-panel business. Wake up.
What are you thankful for, Goofin?
Oh, man, I'm grateful for the missus, Guppy.
Guppy.
We're expecting our first boy any day now, and we're having some house problems with our heater going out and some electricity problems, and the outlook has been optimistic. Like it's
From her.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
It's pretty easy to get down in the dumps when you got kind of stacking negatives, but the homestead's holding strong, celebrating the things that we do have. A roof. We actually have 2 roofs. I don't know if I told you guys that.
You did.
Yep, we got 2 roofs. They just put a fresh one on the other one. They didn't even take it off. No comment.
Amazing.
This was before we bought it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You should put another one on top.
So I'm just actually sorry. I'll take it back. I'm not grateful for my wife. I'm just grateful for my 2 roofs.
Yeah.
Roofs.
There you go.
Roofs.
ROOVES.
Roofs.
What are we sipping on right now?
I have no clue.
Can you offer a guess,
Why do you have to do this to me, dude?
Mr. Q Grader?
Is it one of these new coffees that I've never tasted?
I'm not going to tell you anything except that it's one of our coffees that we already have.
I came in.
So you did tell me something.
I exclaimed it.
Papua New Guinea?
No.
Oh my gosh.
Ethiopia Gadeb Gotiti. It's pretty good.
Hey, you drink
Way
enough
to
of
put
this.
me on blast,
you
dude.
drink enough of this, and you will have to go TT if you know what I mean.
I do.
Oh my gosh.
I do understand what you're saying.
That's
buddy.
why we got the coffee. Because
Go TT. I ground this coffee way too fine on accident.
Yeah, I'm picking that.
Yeah.
And that's honestly good to hear, because I was like, this tastes like that coffee, but it tastes weird.
Yeah. I ground it on like 10. It should have been like 13.
Thanks for, being transparent with us about that.
Absolutely.
Like, even you make mistakes.
Sometimes I make mistakes too.
So, do we want to pick up where we left off?
I think so.
I was having so much fun
Me too.
being interviewed.
We actually recorded this whole program on the same day. We just changed clothes.
Dude,
That sounds exhausting.
wait, dude.
What if we recorded 5 podcasts in one day? How terrible would that be?
I don't know. I think
The first podcast is not terrible. It's life-giving.
Yes.
But I know once you get 5 deep, it would be miserable.
maybe. I mean, you might access like a greater depth. You might unlock something.
Wow.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so.
Dude, where are the interview questions?
I'll pull them up, buddy. Don't worry. And I'll shoot them over to you.
Hey, don't call me buddy. All right.
I'm sorry.
Bucky.
Anyways.
Yeah, call me Bucky.
Yeah, I mean, what did we talk about last week? If for those of you listeners who didn't tune in, we talked about, we just thought it'd be a fun idea to take our interview questions and interview one another, which we did that a little bit. I think we like literally got through 2 questions.
Yeah, we didn't make it too far.
But we more so just explain the overall philosophy of how to bring great people into your organization. And a part of that is interviews. Interviews are rarely super fun. They are sometimes easy, and they are sometimes effective, depending on how good you are at them.
Yeah, to say something real quick, we would definitely recommend that you listen to that podcast before listening to this one.
And smash like.
We never have those opportunities too often, but that always tickles me when someone says, "Stop listening to this right now. Go back and listen to the last podcast before you move forward."
We should just say that every time.
Make sure to go back, smash like,
Comment your favorite pizza topping.
Hey, wait, do you want to talk about, while we're digging up the interview questions, talk about the giveaway? How'd it go?
It went great, man. Went great. Someone close to home won it. So congrats to Sarah Hoynes Thomas. We had an insane amount of entries,
Yeah.
but unfortunately, you can only have one winner. So
Wow.
Sarah took home the ode and the ratio, and I hope it's treating her well.
If you ain't first, you're last.
Sarah, we know you're listening. Please let us know how it's going. All right. And if you need any help, because we will send Riley over there to dial that thing in and get it all set up for you.
He'll be there with bells on. You know what, boys? You know what would be cool?
Belzon? What's a Belzon?
Yeah, who's Belzon? David Belzon, like the artist?
You guys know that saying,
You know what I'm talking about?
I'll be there with bells on?
No.
No. Is that like, hey, just heads up so you hear me coming?
I get why you said that, but I don't think that's really the thought process behind that. I think it's like, I will be there and I'm excited to be there. I think that's what it means. I'll be there with bells on.
Like an elf who wears bells on their shoes or something?
Yeah, man.
Dude, scrap all this. We're doing an elf reaction podcast. So we're going to watch the movie Elf and react to it. You don't think that's funny?
Well, we'll have to pause it. Like, you're mad at it and laugh at your joke.
It was funny.
I don't think either of us laughed.
No, you laughed. You were like...
You chuckled. I just... we would have to pause and react. So that show would have to be either 5 hours.
Oh, yeah, pause it.
We can have a safe word, deposit. Deposit.
Pop-Tart.
Safe word deposit. All right. Anyways.
Wait. Okay, all right. So we didn't even get... Did we even get into Humble, Hungry, Smart?
No, I was going to suggest that we do that.
Okay. So... Shout out to Patrick Lencioni. He wrote a book called The Ideal Team Player.
Friend of the program.
Yes. Mm-hmm. We have some degrees of proximity.
Like he's a second on LinkedIn.
He's a second for sure.
Yeah.
Who's the first that makes him a second?
Hunter Hodge.
Cool.
You know him, you love him. Hunter Hodge. But anyway, so someone at this table read that book. I'm not going to say who. Ross. And in the book, they talk about kind of three characteristics, three core
characteristics.
Core three
Sometimes you
vital core characteristics.
important characteristics.
Yeah.
And they are humble, hungry, smart. Let's walk through them together and talk about what we're looking for in a humble, hungry, smart human.
Well, we also added two, right?
Well, yeah, I was gonna start with that, but that's fine. Do whatever you want. It's your podcast.
The two that we added were humble, hungry, smart, and then hang.
Yep.
Which we'll get into that with. I think that's kind of interesting. That's why I brought it up.
It's very interesting.
And then logistics.
I'm interested.
Logistics,
That's even more interesting.
Yeah. Ooh, where do you live? What's your commute?
No, it's really important stuff. Humble, hungry, smart, hang, logistics. I think for a second I tried to like literally grade people 1 to 5.
Yeah.
Make it more objective, but somehow that just felt like not helpful and weird.
Yeah. Well, I think you get, at least for me, I get 2 in my head about the system.
Yeah.
That I forget about the person.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, starting with humble, because it's the first one, the things we have written down to remind us of what it is the ego thing. Like, we talked about this on our other program, Culture Couch. We talked about being a servant leader. And one of the core practices of a servant leader is checking your ego at the door. Checking your ego at the door. And that is a source of so many troubles and pangs at work, is having an ego. Because having an ego leads to an insecure person, because that person is going to fail. And when that person fails, it's when insecurity comes in, you know.
Shout out to Lou Gray, who worked with us. He had a T-shirt that said, "Your ego is not your amigo."
It's a good reminder.
And that's
amazing.
That stuck with me.
Play of the day.
That stuck with me.
Play the game. Pog.
Yeah.
And so we'll get into the questions later, but we do ask some. Basically, we're outlining these things because we ask questions that create an impasse of sorts to see what road the interviewer chooses to walk down. An example that we used to do a lot was, tell us about your greatest achievement, you know, and we're not interested in if you are an Eagle Scout or if you ran a marathon or if you climbed the Half Dome, El Cap.
Cricket.
I was waiting for you guys to fill in. We're waiting to hear if you. Was that you?
No. How did you make that noise?
There's a snore.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that was good.
That was really good.
We're silly today, boys. Smash like if you're having fun. All right. But we want to hear if you involve anybody else in your story. If there's any we's or us, or if it's just me, 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 me.
Right.
That's an example of asking a question to get a pulse on one of these things we're looking for. So humble. Next up, hungry. What does it mean to be hungry?
I just think, and this has proven to be one that, how do I say this? The people who we've had to part ways with, it has usually been a lack of hunger.
Lack of hunger. You got it.
So really it's the willingness and ability to grow with Valor and for the betterment of yourself.
Do you want it? Kind of like that.
Yes.
Yeah, and a cool thing that he does in the book is he lays out humble, hungry, smart is the ideal team player, but he talks about some people are only humble and hungry. Some people are only smart and humble. Mm-hmm. And like if they're missing one of these core ingredients, that's maybe what this person would look like. You kind of alluded to it, but in our interview document, we have the interview questions broken up into these are questions based towards humility, these are questions based towards hunger, and then smarts. And so, like you said, depending on where the interview's going, if somebody's answering a certain way and you're like, okay, the way they answered that makes me wonder if they've got this humble thing. So I'm going to go towards the humble category of the questions and ask some towards that end.
Totally.
But yeah, in the hunger thing, to your point, Riley, our philosophy on hiring people, part of it is that every single person has flaws and shortcomings, areas of growth.
Except the three of us, right?
Except the three of us, and that's why we're leaders.
Yeah.
And so...
we can just stop there. Let's cut.
Yeah. And so, first of all, if somebody's in the interview and they're not acknowledging their weaknesses, that's automatically a red flag. The way they talk about their weaknesses is also important. Like if they are very self-diminishing and there's a sense of false humility in what they're saying, or if they're just completely, avoiding talking about any of their weaknesses, that's also a red flag. But in the hunger thing, we want to hire people who are hungry for growth and who are willing to acknowledge their weaknesses, because we are a team of a bunch of people with weaknesses, and we are better together helping each other grow towards the best version of ourselves and towards our values. And so that's a big part of hunger, is like there's something that we just say internally, is that we will never fire anyone who wants to grow unless they do something, terrible, whatever they do something terrible, then we'll probably
let's start talking about some of the things that people could do.
My point is, like, if there's a source of tension on the team, or maybe somebody's not working as efficiently as they could be, or maybe they're not showing an interest in growing or whatever, it's like we want to provide them with every opportunity possible to give them the tools to grow, and then it's kind of up to them to grow. And if they don't, then it's like, okay, that's when we're getting into, like, is this person really a good fit for our organization? So the humility and the hunger definitely play into that, because you need the humility to acknowledge the weakness and not be threatened by other people that don't have that same weakness that you have.
Yeah.
And then you also need the hunger to be like, okay, I acknowledge that this is a weakness in myself. Whatever it may be, one of my weaknesses is I forget things. So I acknowledge that as a weakness. I am very hungry to overcome that demon, you know? And I want to involve the people around me to help me overcome that and hold me accountable to it. So there's the humility, there's the hunger. And so, you know, it's usually a simple fix depending on what the problem is. But anyways, I feel like just humility and hunger are very, very tied in together. And those, core ingredients for someone that we want to hire.
Totally. Yeah. I feel like often we've gotten a taste for some people that are really hungry, but it's really just towards maybe their own vision about like kind of cruising past us or using us as a step. And that's growth. And then going on to something else is something we really love and believe in here. But when it's at like the cost of the team, it's like, we're not looking to hire any star players. We want someone that can pass the ball around.
Yeah.
You know, and that's where humility creates that bond with hunger of tying in, of lifting everybody else up with you as you grow.
Yep.
That's a good word, man. Thanks for sharing.
And that goes into the next one, the smart thing. You know, when we say smart, we're not just saying like, you know,
PhDs.
Right. Your IQ level, more so your EQ level, emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence. What does that mean to you guys?
Wow. Well,
that's an interview question.
Yeah. It's what does self-awareness mean to you, right?
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's a good start. Self-awareness is a good, I mean, we've kind of already talked about self-awareness with humility and hunger, but self-awareness is a good first step towards emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
I know how to walk into a room of people and uplift everyone in the room. That doesn't mean everybody likes me. Like it doesn't mean I'm a people pleaser, but it just means I understand people and where they're coming from. I understand the context of the situation. If I walk into a room and I can tell that it's tense, I'm able to discern that, and then I can kind of act accordingly. If I walk into a room and everybody's having a great time, I know how to kind of join in, you know, while still like being myself. I don't want to just say that, you know, you mold everything about who you are according to what other people want and need. But that's the first thing that I think of.
I think about something a little similar, but the way that when you're in a group dynamic or a team dynamic, the way that everybody's making these individual actions and kind of the different ripple effects of those said actions. Basically like, what does it mean to be in a group of people and do something and knowing what happens next, you know? And I think we talk about this with leadership a lot, but a really important part of emotional intelligence is not just thinking about your own thoughts and actions and responsibilities, but being aware and empathetic towards the actions and responsibilities and thoughts of the people around you. And taking that into consideration with what you decide to do.
I think where this really comes into focus is whenever you think about someone who is hungry but not smart. Or maybe they're even hungry and humble, but they're not smart. So an example of that is someone who's really hungry to grow at work. They care about every single policy. They want upward mobility in the company. And they have like the heart and the humility to grow. But they don't have the emotional intelligence to relate to people or work well in a team. I guess like almost like emotional intelligence is like the language of humility, if you think about it. In the sense of like, I have the heart of humility, but emotional intelligence in this smart category is the ability to convey and translate that in a team setting.
It's like humility and empathy kind of tied together. Because humility is just kind of, I feel like, lowering yourself and counting others more significant. But empathy kind of creates that bridge of understanding the people around you as well.
If I have all these characteristics inside of me, in my heart, in my brain, in my mindset, but I don't have the ability to relate with other people on the team. I think in our little definition of smart, we literally have quote speaks good.
Speaks good.
Like,
Yeah,
in
how do
other
you
words,
relate
like
to
you
people?
can carry on a conversation with them in a comfortable, fluid way. It's really important for this line of work.
And that kind of bridges into hang. But before we do that, I was thinking, what do you guys think about a little self-ranking moment of
I was going to suggest the same thing.
a little 1, 2, 3?
Seems like we spend a lot of time with each other.
Oh, too much.
Because I think that we're all different on this list. Like if you said your number 1 is like what you're most proficient at, and number 3 is your least. Obviously, we're top tier in all of this, but
Like, we're just all ties.
yeah, like I'm just like 1 across the board. Does anyone have like a quick thing like, oh, I already know I'm?
I know.
What? Go ahead.
I am hungry, humble, smart.
Hungry, humble, smart.
Yeah.
Nice. Do you want to share into that a little bit?
I think it's all kind of, it just makes sense. So, it's kind of hard to start a business and plan on growing it without having a hunger drive.
Totally.
And a lot of what I do and think of in this job is very grow the company and what we're doing based. And on a personal term, I mean, I like to improve myself and see the areas of weakness. I've got plenty that I don't want to improve, like how I am not active. Like that's like you'd think if I was hungry, I'd be like, yeah, I need to like look into that area of my life that's a
Sure.
shortcoming and fix it.
Yeah.
But anyways, hungry is number 1. Humble is number 2. I feel like we wouldn't have even gotten this business this far if we weren't able to be willing to listen to areas we fall short. And that's a lot of what we have based Valor on as being a culture of feedback. And then I think smart is my 3rd because I think I've gotten a lot better at it and I wouldn't call myself bad at it. But, relaying feedback and, I have the tendency to be a bulldozer. And so that's why I would think that emotional intelligence would be my number 3.
Those are very insightful answers. Thank you for sharing.
What about you, Ethan?
I'd have to go smart, humble, hungry. What do you guys think? Does that sound good?
That sounds really good to me.
Do you guys like that? Do you
Yes.
like me?
I think it was more like you're answering the question,
Right.
not us.
And it makes complete sense that you are the antithesis of me.
Yeah, we are. We're a flop.
Nemesis.
Or a flip.
Yeah. Frenemy.
I'm your flop. Yeah, so smart. What's funny is like, no offense to me, but trying to convey what emotional intelligence means or like smart, I was like, duh, I don't know. But I think it's just something I have been able to have the grace and gift to live without maybe being able to verbalize it as well. But I've just, I don't know. It just kind of comes naturally. And it is something I think one of the things you have here for smart is can navigate tough conversations. And I think that's something I've been challenging myself at lately and trying to get better at. And we talked about that in the Is It Okay to Yell at Your Employees?
The Dan Campbell
the
episode.
Dan Campbell episode. So
Which, if you haven't listened to it, stop right now and go listen to that one.
any further.
Yeah.
So yeah, smart and then humble. I love receiving feedback. I love like working in a team environment, and that kind of gets into why hungry is my last one, because I'm not much of I feel like I'm not a super self-starter. I like to do things together, and then also more in like a support role of someone who does have vision and drive and kind of getting behind them and pushing to make it happen. But I definitely and humble's not first because I feel like I definitely have an ego and I think about myself way too much. But hungry, and what I was interested, you kind of mentioned the hungry thing of like there's parts of that touches your life and doesn't. So like in one respect, I do think I'm hungry in that I love to work and I'll put in tons of hours. But on the other side, it's like I maybe am not, and I don't know when I was talking about this. I don't challenge myself to grow in that work. It's just like I'm willing to show up and do it.
You talked about it on the last episode.
Oh, yeah, there you go. But I'm not like proactively pushing myself to like, how can I make today even better than the next one? It's like, oh, no, I'm just here doing the same thing. What's up, guys?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's me. How about you, dude?
I can't really tell how emotionally intelligent I am. I think I'm pretty emotionally intelligent, but I think I can also like I'm not. I don't really change how I talk much.
Sure.
To fit other people, but I think I think I have the ability to understand where people are coming from really well. Let me rank myself first before I start explaining.
Yeah, you're mansplaining about smart again.
Hungry, smart, humble.
We're all different.
Would you guys agree?
Yes.
Yes.
I
The least humble guy I know.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, the hungry. I'm always trying to do something different. Maybe it's not even better, but just different. And I that is a big part of my role in the company is to take on new projects and pioneer and push things forward. And I do look inwardly and want to grow personally, and I wouldn't call myself a very complacent person. And then smart, I mean, back to the emotional intelligence thing. Like whenever somebody has an offense with someone, I always see the other side. Like I'm always able to like look at a situation from above and be like, okay, what are the dynamics at play here? I think I've just learned that honestly from marriage, of just like being able to understand where somebody is at in their life and how their heart is and what pressures are on their life and how that's affecting a situation. And so I think that helps my emotional intelligence. But the thing I said about talking is like I don't really change how I talk to people. I try to, I don't know. I'm okay with tough conversations, and I want to try to bring truth and clarity to situations. And sometimes that gets me in trouble with people that are sensitive. I'm right, they're wrong, kind of thing. Just kidding. And then humble. Yeah, I think I do think about myself a lot. I probably think about myself like more than anyone.
You think about Ross more than anybody?
Yeah.
I think that's probably true for everyone, but I understand what you're getting at.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think about you a ton, dude.
You might think about me more than I think about me.
Definitely more than he thinks about himself.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But I think in a lot of ways you showcase humility, like the way you take care of your family. Super humble. I've seen you take whatever you need to do to take care of the fam, and even in pairing humility with hunger with this company, taking on whatever project is necessary to help it out, whether that's plumbing a dishwasher or plumbing a washer dryer or starting this whole keg thing from scratch. It's a really good pair of humility and hunger. So
Yep. Yeah, and then so the next sort of category is hang.
yes.
This is one we added.
Sorry, Patrick.
Yeah, sorry. I hate to add to your canon, but
Yeah, this is now apocrypha. So also hit us up in the comments. What's your 1, 2, 3 of humble, hungry, smart?
yeah,
I'm kind of interested to know.
this is
Colson,
one Enoch, Valor.
Josh.
So hang, this makes me think of a topic that we have thrown around for years, which is, does everybody need to be vibing with each other when they work together? There's this
big question.
There's different dynamics here. Again, I'm a guy that understands dynamics. Does that make sense?
That you are.
Yeah, and if you didn't listen to Ross's answer, stop right here, go back and listen to Ross's answer about how he's good at knowing dynamics, and then tune back in. All right, go ahead, Ross.
Thank you for that commercial, that Ross commercial. There's been such awesome seasons in our company where everybody behind the bar was friend. They were friends, right?
They were giving.
Some of them were hanging out behind the bar. Sorry. Some of them were hanging out not on the bar, after work. And that definitely helped the camaraderie behind the bar, which then helped our guests in our whole experience. But there's also downsides to that. If something goes wrong in the friend group, which every friend, we all fight,
Community, man. It's messy.
But it's worth it.
Smash like if you know what I'm talking about.
Smash like if you know that community is messy. But so there's pros and cons to everybody being friends behind the bar, of course, or in any workplace. But we also, the problem with that is that birds of a feather
flock together. Yes, Ross.
You guys are on one.
Thank you for finishing my
sandwiches. Yes,
sandwich.
That little frozen reference.
It's like if Slam and Sam hugged you.
A sandwich?
Yeah.
That is funny.
That is funny.
Smash like if you want to see that live.
So point is, if we just have a bunch of people that think the same way, they have a lot of stuff in common.
Hive mind.
They look.
Sorry, I'm really keeping this train from moving.
Yeah, I'm trying to kind of get a point across here, Ethan.
Intelligence just got knocked down a notch.
Yeah, like
for you.
actual intelligence. My IQ is dropping by the second right now listening to this podcast. So anyways, okay. I think about like if we have true diversity in our company, it's like multi-ethnic, multi-generational diversity. We've got obviously not a lot of 45-year-old people are trying to work behind an espresso bar yet. But given enough,
when we get the wages to $50 an hour,
when we finally get the wages up, God,
career baristas are coming to town.
People that are older don't relate as easily to people that are younger. Okay,
what?
And vice versa. People. That's the challenge of diversity. Is that the challenge and the beauty of diversity in a company is that you have the pro is that you have a lot of different people that are contributing a lot of different things in their own unique ways because of their own background and experience. The con, it's not even necessarily a con, it's just a challenge, is that meshing all those people together.
The opportunity.
Yeah. So the hang piece is like, well, do you just hire a bunch of people that are like kind of the same and then they're all like vibing together, and then at the end of their time at work, they're like, you know what? I just loved working at Valor, but really the best thing about it was that I made friends with everybody. I made friends. It wasn't just coworkers. And it's like, yeah, that's a beautiful thing, and we want that, but also diversity. And it's beautiful whenever people that are not similar at all become friends. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
That's definitely something we've been talking about a lot, is how does that all mesh in the workplace? And we've been grateful to be able to add people from different walks of life lately and see how that goes. And there is just like, there's awesome parts of it, and then there's like getting on the same page parts of it.
Yeah.
It's a reality. But the hang thing is just like, you could really, that's going deep.
Yeah.
But you could also just take it to, what is my first impression of this person? Did they smile at me? Did they make eye contact? And were they nice?
For sure.
Because that is the business we are in, baby. You're meeting people for five to like 45 seconds. And if you just have like a pretty rough exterior, hospitality is just kind of a tough industry to thrive in.
We're paying these people to have first impressions all day long.
Yeah.
A huge part of this hang thing is the fit as well. Like there's been times where whenever we're looking to hire person A or hire person B, we look at the team dynamic and we say, okay, do we have like a ton of alphas on the team that are like really, really big personalities? And they're all like super hype and, kind of like uptight all the time.
Sure.
Or do we have more just like chill, kind of people that defer a lot?
Sigmas don't care.
Yeah.
Right? That's the thing.
So we look at the
know what you're talking
person.
about.
We look at the person we're trying to hire and we think about how they fit with the different personalities on the team as best as we can. Asbestos.
Asbestos.
Welcome to the Asbestos podcast, where we talk about how to be as best as you can.
That was funny. All right.
Smash like.
So, and then the last part, logistics. That's what we talked about. I think you gave our interview like steps to success thing, and that a lot of that comes out in the phone call interview where we're just like, who are you? Where do you live? What's your address? What's your social, bank account?
How do you do?
How do you do?
What did dog do?
Well, what did dog do? Can you make this much money? Like, where are you in your career journey? Can you work the weekends? Blah, blah, bloobity blue.
It's huge because if they're a perfect culture fit, they fit in great, they're doing amazing, but they have too many commitments in their life, or they're too busy, or they don't make enough money. Like, that's just not going to last.
Totally. Yeah, and we see people come to terms with that and step in or step out. I think we've had people like take this opportunity. They're young, and this is like the most money they've ever made, or vice versa. They're like older, and they're like, I want to stop my like corporate job and work here because this is what I really want. And so logistics don't have to like dominate it, but we still have to face them and like come to terms with the reality of what it means to work at Valor.
Maybe we could give a sample question for each category and maybe chop them up a little bit. Like go to the humble category.
Oh, yeah, let's do it. Okay, why don't we just have one person answer each one? Okay, and we'll do a couple questions.
Great. Start with humble.
Yes, Ross, I'm starting with humble. I'm looking at them. Just buy me some time. They don't.
Hey, this podcast is brought to you by Valor Wholesale. Do you have a coffee shop? Heck, coffee cart, restaurant, whatever, and you're like, man, I need some coffee.
Right.
This ad was very scripted, as you can tell.
Yeah.
What do they do when they need coffee?
They email wholesale@valor.coffee
I need coffee.
and put subject, I need coffee. Heck, you know what? If you get in touch with us from this podcast, we will give you a hug.
Dang. You're about to give somebody a discount.
You're about to fly.
Yeah, let's think about this discount. What kind of discount could we give? $100 off your first order if your order's,
If your order is
over $500. Right?
Over $500, you get $100 off.
That sounds good. Sounds good to me.
Let's do it.
I mean, you have to order more than once with us, or you're dead to me.
Right.
I
Our
don't know. If
wholesale
someone
program.
orders ones for $500.
That's pretty good. Our wholesale program. Listen, we've got some new stuff rolling out. Wholesale paths. We have partner paths.
Yeah.
So one is a perks path, and guys, I'm gonna be real with you. The perks path is for everyone. Okay, perks path, you get perks as you hit certain milestones within your partnership with Valor.
Wow.
So if you order blank pounds, you get this all the way up to like, I don't know, an EK43 or something.
What?
Yeah, I know. Got to order some coffee for that one though. The other one, you do have to be pushing weight to be eligible for this one, but it is the what do we want to call this one?
I mean, maybe just the margin.
The margin path.
Margin path.
Yeah. So the margin
Sounds
path.
lame.
Basically, we'll come up with a better name for it. Okay. This is raw.
The margin
but
marathon.
We're just letting you know right now. The margin path. You get your coffee for dirt cheap, but you are in a way a Valor ambassador. Yeah. You know, you're probably going to have a poster that talks about Valor subscriptions and how they can get them online. You're probably going to order some retail coffee and be pushing it. You know,
Wow.
Just, you know.
Yeah, more on that later.
Yeah, but if you want to stay in the know on that and you want to
Smash
receive excellent coffee, I mean, our coffees right now are
Fuego.
And just to double back, if you become a wholesale partner from this podcast and you place an order for $500 or more, we will give you a $100 bill.
we'll send
we'll
it
give you a
in the
penny.
box.
We'll send you a Benny. That's funny. That's a really funny way to go
It
about
is
that.
funny. And so the way to redeem that is you just email wholesale@valor.coffee and say, I listened to the program that you guys talked about, the thing that we talked about, and we'll get you taken care of.
All right. That little ad roll took like 5 minutes, so that doesn't count for my time to go through these questions. All right.
Okay.
So deal with that. I'm gonna throw it out into the middle, the question, and whoever has the answer, speak now. You know what I mean?
Deal.
Tell me about one of the most important people in your work experience thus far, and what impact did they make?
This is a humble question to figure out about someone's humility.
Yes. I don't know if that. Yeah. Yes. Tell me about one of the most important people in your work experience thus far, and what impact did they make?
I'll go.
Thank you.
This person isn't really in my work experience, but she has really affected my work. It's my mommy. Care Bear, I know you're listening. I love you. I love you, Care Bear.
KB.
She hasn't even necessarily taught me this, but I've just like noticed this from watching her life and watching the way that she has worked in the organizations that she has worked. But I am someone who, whenever I do something, I need to know. It helps me to know why I'm doing it. And so she's just taught me to be a deep thinker. And she's taught me how to inspire other people through an understanding of why I'm doing something. So if I know why I am pulling espresso a certain way, or I know why I am smiling at someone when they walk through the door, if I think, deeply about that and understand the implications of that, why it matters, I'm not only able to it helps me adhere to a level of excellence if I know why I'm doing something. It helps me to prolong performance in an area. And I think just watching her convey the core values of her company to the people in, under her and that she works with has just made me place a really high value on that. And it's watching her do that goes beyond just, being obsessed with core values. It's more so about thinking deeply on a topic and thinking about what is going to emotionally inspire me to perform at a high level and help other people do the same.
Great answer.
Thank you.
Great answer. Tell me about the most unique contribution you made at your last job.
Or I guess this job too.
No. Okay. Yes.
6 years ago.
Jeez. My last job. I guess this is us interviewing for another job. So
Yeah, this
That
is
is, I do not even know where to begin.
for Valor.
Yeah. I'm like, well, I learned how to video and record a podcast
I know what your answer should be.
The website.
Yeah. You learn how to code.
for my coding job after this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be a great answer for your future coding job.
Yes.
If you're
And
like,
that show, and this was a question highlighting hungry, and that boy's hungry over there. So
that definitely showcases hunger. So we answered for you, Riley. You're welcome.
Great. Next question.
describe your ideal coworker. What attributes do they have?
This has to be you answering it, Ethan.
I like someone that has a relaxed presence. I'm pretty low key, and I like that. I like to keep it that way. I like someone who does not get embarrassed. So they're willing to be vulnerable and risk taking hospitality moves that put them in a vulnerable position. I like someone that can really work hard and be a problem solver when things are going wrong. And lastly, maybe someone who has good taste in music and could give me some good recommendations on some tunage.
Wow.
It is nice when someone really likes good music and they help me.
You know what I always think about when I ask that question?
What?
I don't care what the answer is because I know that the way they answer that is they're just describing themselves.
Wow.
So wait, I think that I am relaxed, a problem solver, have a good taste in music.
Doesn't get embarrassed.
I don't get embarrassed.
That's you. And you just want to, and it's not like a bad thing. It's just like you want.
Boy, is my face red.
You're just describing your things that are most important to you
Right.
in the workplace.
Yeah.
And you obviously would try to be those things if they are the most important to you.
Ross Walters, expert interviewer.
Dun, dun, dun. Well, what's funny
That was
is
badass, dude.
we did
Honestly.
the same thing last week, and if you didn't listen to last week's podcast,
Just stop right now, right before the end of the show.
because the question below that is describe your ideal leader, and it's the same thing. It's like, what are you looking for in a leader?
That would be the kind of leader you try to be.
Right.
Yep.
I love that.
Yeah.
This is fun. Why don't we all answer it on a scale of 1 to 10? How weird are you?
Probably a 9. Well, I would say probably a 7. And the reason is I'm one of the least quirky people that I know, but I'm pretty funny.
Can we please just say what this mother trucker was doing before we
I
recorded?
can play it right now
Why not?
on the podcast. All right.
This
So
guy-
everybody knows that I can sing really well. And everybody also knows that cursive singing. I'm not trying to be here and say that I coined the term cursive singing, okay? Because I didn't coin it. But I did notice it with people that I was playing with like 10 years ago. I would notice particularly female vocalists would sing in a certain way. And as the years went by, I was like, there's a trend here. People are pronouncing words differently than they would in any other circumstance. And it's a trend, and I don't like it, but it's hilarious, so I'm going to make fun of it. And so I sing in cursive, and here it is.
Little schoolmate in the schoolyard. Play Jackson, Uno cards. I'll be your best friend and you'll be. What's the next one? Yes, you can hold my hand if you want to.
So bad. All right, we get it.
Okay, anyways,
Anyways, yeah, dude, you're so funny.
so
We get it.
Exhibit A, I'm funny, and I like to make a fool of myself. I really do. So I would be one of your ideal coworkers, just in the sense that I'm not easily embarrassed.
You do have a great taste in music.
I do have a great taste in music. And so, yeah, I'm pretty weird. I like, yeah.
But you do have a relaxed presence. You're not like in your face wacky,
Right.
which is nice.
And I'm
too.
also not, yeah. Anyways, so that
7.
I'm a 7.
I'm probably like a 10 to Michaela, an 8 to you guys, and a 5 to everyone else.
For sure.
Well said. Well said. Anything you want to say about that?
I don't know. I would say I get embarrassed a little bit more to people I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes I'm feeling it though.
Right.
Yeah. Like Rolex.
Yeah.
You
I
come
mean,
up-
okay, listen. You hear about people who benefit from alcohol at parties.
Yeah.
I am certainly one of those
You
people.
are totally that guy. Yeah.
And we're not talking about crazy, keg stand guy.
No, I'm
We're
talking,
not advocating for
and
drunkenness.
I'm talking like 1 to 2 drinks. Like I'm
Rolex
definitely
is
not
there.
drunk. It's
Yeah.
just I get more socially adept.
You're warm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you find me at Valor's holiday party,
Yeah.
I might be a little bit more loose.
Or really any time in public, you're Rolex.
Yeah.
That's well said.
Drink responsibly, everyone. Don't run from stuff. Ethan?
Maybe like
I don't know.
8.
Just like
You're a 10,
as you
dude.
talk in your
I
stupid
guess
voice.
I guess I'd be like an 8 or something. I don't know.
You are one of the weirdest people I've ever met, and I love you.
Bro, I love you too.
Like, seriously.
All right, I'll take the 10. I feel like you can't self-nominate 10.
Take the 10, dude. T the T.
T the T. All right.
T the T from T to
honestly,
T.
though, as Valor grows and like we're onboarding people, I would bet that the people now would be like, Ethan's not that weird.
Sure.
But to you guys, maybe, and like some OGs, I'm definitely weird. And maybe I'll get a little freakier later,
Yeah.
But this was awesome. This was a great experience. I'm happy to go through these questions with you guys and learn. And this is what we talk about. This is what we think about. And this is some of the framework that helps us bring on amazing people into our company.
It's kind of the thing about this podcast is like, I work with you guys every day, but I just learn a little something about you every week.
Yeah. It's a beautiful thing.
Wow. Okay. Well, this was awesome. Love you guys.
Love you.
Love you.